In the house? White Sox fans in the house? Cubs fans? Bulls fans? I originally moved to Chicago because when I was about the age of most of the young people in this crowd, I was inspired by the civil rights movement. I hadn't been old enough to participate myself, but I had read the history and I had seen the images of young people from all across the country who had decided that they wanted to somehow be involved in bringing about freedom and justice in America. The people who had loaded up on buses and traveled on behalf of the freedom of people they didn't even know. Young people who straight-backed and clear-eyed sat at lunch counters, despite folks hurling epithets at them and pouring milk and food down them, because they knew that they were sitting down on behalf of a set of larger principles. I was inspired by that, and so I got the idea in my head that I wanted to be a community organizer. And I wrote to organizations all across the country who might be willing to hire me, and the only folks who did were a group of churches on the south side of Chicago who had come together because steel plants had closed all through the region, and thousands of people had been laid off, and homes had been foreclosed, and commercial strips had been deteriorating, and young people were wandering the streets dealing drugs. And these churches had decided they wanted to do something about it, so they had formed an organization. They didn't have a lot of money. All they could afford to hire was me. And I remember they paid me the grand sum of $13,000 a year, plus car expenses. And I drove out not knowing a single person in Chicago. And for the next 3 years, I worked with these churches and these ordinary folks, teachers, bus drivers, and post office workers, single moms, set up job training programs for the unemployed, and to set up after-school programs for youth. And it was the best education that I ever got, because what it taught me is something that I have never forgotten and informs all the politics that I do, and that is that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they're given an opportunity.